that. A lot of action out there in the harbor today. All right, apparently we are hitting what lawyers know as kind of the end of the split-up season. I didn't know there was a season for that, sadly. But when you go through that process, sometimes it's excruciatingly painful and difficult, and so many mistakes are made that could be avoided. You need to have a good team. And Lori Clark Viviano has literally put together the all-star team here to help you get through this. In fact, she's got a seminar now called the 3 C's Seminar, and that stands for counsel, cost, and conflict. So, representing counsel, Lori Clark Viviano. Representing cost, we've got Mike Wastvedt, and then representing conflict, Brook Olsen. So you put this whole team together. Why? What was the impetus for this?
So you know what happened? I had a client one time, and I sent her to an expert that was really well known, and she came back to me and she asked me a question, and she said, "Do you like this person?" And I said, "No, not particularly." So she said, "Why would you send me to someone that you don't like and I like you?" And I thought, you know, she's got a really good point. So I got Mike through a client. She had picked him, I hadn't, and I've worked with him ever since. Brook, I adore too. And so for me, we've been, you know, we kind of cross-refer. Sometimes they need Brook more than they need me. Sometimes I have a client right now that I said, you know, you don't really need me anymore. You need a good CPA. You need a good person that's going to organize. And so we came up with this concept to put on these seminars. It's $25. You will get a capsulated kind of explanation of what's going on. And like, Brook, what are you going to talk about?
Well, I'm going to be talking about the places where people get lost and not knowing what they're going into. People really don't understand the complications, the implications of not knowing what they want when they walk into divorce, and what they're going to walk into when they walk into the courtroom and try to get through the things that they want to accomplish. So for me in this is about getting them to really understand and to look at what it is that they want to accomplish in that. Then they can solve the problem.
So it's about conflict resolution or conflict avoidance, perhaps?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And
get in front of it.
And the other thing, too, is I'm not a therapist. That's not in my wheelhouse. So to me, when I start seeing something, they shouldn't be spending money with me. They should be over with Brook. And you know, and
that's very interesting, because people would tend to think in a divorce that the lawyer is all you need.
Oh, no.
And that could really be a tragic mistake. Now, you've brought Mike in before, and we've talked about the financial concerns. You as a CPA, your contribution to the 3 C's seminar, cost. The implications are huge, and yet people sometimes only have a vague idea. Well, I know there's money involved here.
A lot of the time they don't know where it is, what it is, or suddenly something that was there isn't there anymore. So sometimes they need
people hiding assets.
Oh yeah. Sometimes.
Okay, wait. I'm going to tell a great Mike story, because he's a CPA, so he's the driest of the 3.
Well,
okay, just saying.
Right there.
Aren't you glad you came today?
Yes, exactly.
But like, okay, so I'm getting audited, and so which is not a very pleasant experience. And Mike's representing me, and so all of a sudden he said, you know what? You didn't capture enough of your deductions in 2011, and shockingly, it's going to offset the mistakes you made in 2012. If that's, to me, where Mike is amazing. He's creative. He's not just, because all of us can do that. If you've got a pretty simple, you know, situation, but Mike, I just sent a couple to him, and the other side had heard about Mike and said, yeah, I think he's a good guy. So what a perfect thing. Instead of them going to 2 different CPAs,
right,
the other attorney agreed to have both clients use Mike. So right now, I'm doing absolutely nothing. The other attorney's doing absolutely nothing.
How much you billing an hour for that?
Yeah, right? So, you know,
and we're kidding, because Lori doesn't bill for things she doesn't do.
Right.
That's the whole point of this, is
right.
Get specialized help from people that can really help you, and don't just be paying an attorney to you know, keep having these conversations that may or may not be fruitful in terms of what you want to have accomplished at the end.
And what do I always say to everybody? I know just enough to get myself into trouble, so the minute I start feeling it's money, I'm like, okay. And I always say to my clients, go to your CPA. But the problem is, if you and I are married, guess what CPA we have? The same one.
Right.
And they're just not going to feel comfortable with it. So what I say is, look, go to your CPA, see Mike, and then choose. You know, maybe you stay with your CPA because after you talk to Mike, you trust him. With Brook, when I have clients that are just super emotional and all this, what I find is he really calms them down. And I'll tell a story about Brooke. I had a client, and I knew she was not going to do well at Family Court Services. And so I said, go see Brooke. And she came back and said to me, I hated him the first time because, he was really kind of, not criticizing me, but
in my face.
But in my face.
Yeah.
She kicked it out of the park. So I think the seminar is great. It's a good way. What day is it, Mike?
We've got 3 of them scheduled right now, May 16th, June 20th, and July 18th.
And if you mention
mention San Diego Living
or Mark, and you get a free book.
The Black Hole of High Conflict.
It's amazing. Even our CPA here read it.
Interesting. Really? Okay, where are the seminars going to be?
They're going to be in Del Mar, High Bluff Road. It's 300, Suite 300 on 12626 Del Mar Heights.
Okay, so it's up in the North County area, folks.
Yep.
So that kind of gets you up in the right area. And again,
Saturday.
3 different dates.
Saturday
it's
morning.
a Saturday. How long? How long are you going to...
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half.
Oh, that's compact.
Right. Well, but it's not to, it's just...
Lori can't say hello in an hour and a half.
Yeah, but they're only going to let me talk for a third of the time.
Okay, yeah. We'll see how that works out.
There's a website out there.
The website, they're showing it.
Good.
We did that. So
Got it on the screen.
There. Yep.
Okay. Brooke, you must have to mediate amongst professionals occasionally.
A lot, and I really love working with Lori, and I send a lot of my clients in that direction because she's the problem solver. I mean, she's not one of the attorneys who'll sit there and drag things out and put things. She gets a hold of it, she takes charge, and she solves the problem. And people get in and they get their job done and they get on with their lives, and that's the piece that she does so remarkably well.
All right, well, that's what it's all about. It's the 3 C's seminar. Lori Clark Viviano. And please take advantage of what she has to offer, and the free book. Mention that you saw it here on San Diego Living. Thanks, guys.
Hey, good seeing you, Mark.
Have a great weekend.
And you can mention Mark too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Please. All right. Coming up next.